Hello everyone, this is Kiki and welcome to another redraw. Yes, I do a lot of these, I really enjoy doing them, and there's just certain pictures that I'm like, I was pretty freaking happy with them when I made them, but I know I could do so much better with them and make them more what I envisioned originally. And this is one that I've been wanting to redo for a while. This is the first picture in a series of pictures that I did for my Skyward Sword story, which I also have videos of me turning into a comic. But there is a lot in this picture that needed fixed. This picture is 5 years old. I did it in June of 15. I finished the new one back in February, so it's been a little bit since I finished it, but I'm finally getting around to putting the video together. But yeah, like I said, there was a lot that needed fixed. Just the anatomy was a big one. Both Gerhim and Link were super stiff and just sort of looked pasted onto the picture. They didn't look like they were part of the picture. I'm not sure what was going on with the little rock mound that I stuck the sword in. I don't know what that was. But for Gerhim alone, some of the big things, like I said, were anatomy. Like, his neck is super long, his arms are an odd length, his legs are kind of positioned weirdly, and I had meant to have it look like his hair had grown out because he's been sitting there for so long, but because of how his hair is styled normally, I didn't actually have it grow right. Like, it's all the same length and it wouldn't be. So that was another thing I had to fix. The sword itself, as you can see, is fixing it up there. I'm not sure how I made it look so wrong the first time. But yeah, I fixed the size and just, how it's supposed to look in general. Yes, I did trace over the image, get over it. But, I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, I traced over it mostly because certain objects I have trouble eyeballing. Swords are one of them, mainly because they're not organic shapes. So I wanted to make sure I got, the edges and the angles right, and then, made the adjustments I needed to for the fact that I have it being damaged. And then I also changed how it was positioned in the ground as well. Another thing with Gerhim himself was his clothing. On the original, I had forgotten to put the cutouts on his gloves, and I didn't have the cutouts on his pants correct either. And the armband thing I hadn't drawn correctly. I had it like with 2 layers and it's not. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how a lot of things happened in the original picture. But, and then with Link, again, just fixing the fact that he looked so stiff and just awkward, especially the leg that's like the knees on the ground. His shin is like forever long, and then he has these teeny tiny little feet. So that was a big thing that I changed. As well as just making the angle of that foot a little bit more natural. And if you've seen the videos where I do the comic for this video, for these pictures story thing, I actually draw Link with longer hair, which is just sort of a headcanon of mine that I've had from before Breath of the Wild, mind you. That after the events, whoops, I just hit my desk, that hurt. After the events of Skyward Sword, he, you know, goes out and patrols the forest, blah blah blah, and just sort of doesn't care and just kind of lets his hair grow, because why does he need to cut it if he's just roaming around and, you know, patrolling and stuff? It's not in his way. I can imagine Zelda nagging him for it. Cut your hair. Nah, I mean, why? I also just kind of don't like the Skyward Sword Zelda. She annoys me. That's irrelevant right now. But yeah, so I changed his hair in this picture to match how I have it in the comics, just because I want him to have longer hair for the story because of something I'm planning to do later. So yeah. Yeah, there's 5 pictures total that I've done. The last one that I did, I finished the end of 18? No. The end of 17. The end of 17, I think. No. I don't remember. I think it was the end of 18. I just remember it was around the time that my computer, like, died. But yeah, so there's 5 pictures that have, like, story segments to them, and then the comic pages that I've made for it so far only cover a portion of the story that is written for this picture. And I think I have 5 pages for the comic. So, I mean, that kind of tells you how long it is. And those comic pages are not small. But yeah, I had, like I said, I finished this back in February, so I don't remember too much about actually doing it. But I do remember I had fun with it, and that I enjoyed using all of the new skills and stuff that I've learned over the past 5 years to make it look better and fix it up and a little bit, you know, less sticker paste on background. The only thing I kind of wish I did with the new one was blur the background out just a little bit more, like how I have it in the original, so it's not quite so prominent. But even then, I do still like how I have it. But another big thing with this one was the shading and the lighting. In the first one, I just kind of like shaded them and then kind of added some darker areas that were, you know, on the bottom bit. But it doesn't really tell you what direction the light is coming from with how I have the shading and stuff on the first one. The original is just kind of like this really sort of neutral, okay, they're shaded. In the new one, I made sure that I tried to tell the direction of the light by how I put the shadows and the highlights on Garahim and Link and the surroundings. And I feel like it definitely helps pull them into the picture a lot more, and it just generally looks a lot better, I think. The shading on the original is kind of extra and chaotic and not very natural. So yeah, the shading on this is something I'm pretty proud of as well. just about at the end here. I hope you enjoyed this redraw. I know I enjoyed making it. And yeah, so if you did, hit the like button, and if you really enjoyed it, go check out some of my other videos and maybe hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified so you can join me on my arty journey. Until the next time, bye.